order. Let the record reflect, today is April 4th, 2022, and it's 1:05. Members, we have one bill on the docket today, and this is a informational hearing only, and that is Senate File 4427, and that is the Department of Commerce's supplemental budget. And so with that said, Commissioner Arnold, if you and your staff would like to go to the hearing table.
And welcome to the committee.
Let me.
What do we got to do here? Right? And welcome to the committee, Commissioner Arnold.
Just
One second. We got to get.
So there we go. Thank you to the Commerce Committee, Commissioner Arnold. And if you would like to go ahead and go through Senate File 4427, we would appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair Dahms and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Grace Arnold, and I'm the Commissioner of the Department of Commerce. I'm joined today by my Director of Government Affairs, John Kelly. Thank you so much for the opportunity to provide a high-level overview of the department's supplemental budget items, and thank you, Chair Dahms, for introducing the bill. Senate File 4427 is short as far as budget bills normally go. We split our energy and non-energy portions in the governor's supplemental budget, so Commerce has two bills due to a backup at the revisor's office. They had a lot of work to do. So while it's not reflected in in the Senate file, our supplemental budget got even shorter last week. So thank you, Chair Dahms and members, the Reinsurance Conference Committee who passed the bipartisan conference report on Thursday, and the governor signed the bill on Friday, which made my blood pressure go down quite a bit. So we're ready to keep that going. So thank you all. Can we do the next slide? All right, so since there are a couple new members on the committee, I just wanted to do a brief overview of what the department does, so this can provide some context for the supplemental budget items that we're asking for. At Commerce, our mission is to protect all Minnesotans in their everyday financial transactions by investigating and evaluating services and advocating that those services be fair, accessible, and affordable. So we do a lot. We regulate our financial institutions, which includes banks, credit unions, and non-depositories, which include mortgage lenders. We oversee the insurance sector. We have an enforcement division that enforces the laws and sort of across the department. We license insurance agents and real estate agents. We also do sports agents, of which there are just a handful, but that's a fun fact if you ever need one about the Commerce Department. We operate the state's unclaimed property program. We have a senior financial fraud ombudsperson who helps to work on senior financial fraud. We have consumer support services, an energy division, which I won't touch on much today. We advocate for the public interest for telecommunications and operate the state's Petro Fund, which is a fund that allows old gas tanks, mostly that are in ground, to get cleaned up. So the next slide provides an overview of some of Commerce's work. As a reminder, we are at our core a consumer protection agency. Our regulatory authority extends to a large sector of Minnesota's economy by conducting investigations and examinations, responding to complaints, and issuing professional licenses and advocacy on behalf of the public interest. So I'll move now to the budget items for the department. This supplemental budget makes additional investments in a couple of key areas of the department. And the items that you'll see here allow for additional and improved services to consumers and businesses across Minnesota in the administrative services, insurance, enforcement, and financial institutions divisions of the department. So the first item I'll talk about is additional senior financial fraud prevention staffing. In 2018, the legislature enacted a new law that allowed financial advisors and broker-dealers to report suspected financial fraud involving seniors and vulnerable Minnesotans to the Commerce Department. In 2020, the legislature expanded that law to include banks, credit unions, and other financial institutions. In response to increasing referrals stemming from the 2020 changes, Commerce dedicated a staff position solely to responding to consumer complaints, working case files involving reported financial fraud targeted at seniors, and conducting outreach to community and industry to raise awareness of the new law. While these efforts have been successful, Commerce is seeking an additional $125,000 for a second FTE to support this work moving forward. This will allow not only for more action on referrals, but proactive outreach as the department continues to combat senior financial fraud. So the next I'll talk about is the insurance division staffing. During my time as commissioner, I've been focused not only on protecting consumers, but hearing from our regulated entities about how the department can better meet their needs. This budget item is the result of hearing from the insurance industry that they would benefit from having a senior manager within the insurance division that can not only focus on forms and filings, sort of our day-to-day work, but also have expertise in emerging products and trends in the market. Commerce is seeking an additional $180,000 in funding for this FTE. Next, I'll talk about market conduct staffing. This is another item that relates to my efforts to improve processes within the department to better serve Minnesotans and our regulated entities. We're seeking $345,000 for an additional funding to hire 3 new in-house market conduct exam staff. And this has been a long-standing request from the agency, both to bring more folks in-house, but also to kind of improve the way that the processes work. We believe this funding is essential to build upon some internal process improvements we've done and hopefully resolve some of the lingering issues that I'm aware of related to market conduct exams. I'll also note that the department continues to work with the insurance industry on reaching consensus on the language on Senate File 3287, which I think last time I was here was to testify on that bill, and that relates to market conduct exams. That's the policy part. Next, in response to a January 2022 Office of the Legislative Auditor special review on the Commerce Fraud Bureau, we are requesting an additional $174,000 for an additional special agent funded by the general fund. The department put in place operating procedures and practices that are recommended in the OLA report, but we're now seeking the recommended statutory change that would authorize the CFB to investigate other fraud allegations that are within the purview of the department's regulatory duties and identify an appropriate funding source for these additional investigatory activities. The department is committed to working with the insurance industry on appropriate statutory language and guardrails that would come with this funding. Next, our financial institutions division's mission is to protect Minnesota consumers and maintain active financial markets and ensure access to diverse and healthy financial services. The division charters, licenses, and examines Minnesota financial institutions to ensure compliance with the law and financial strength. We regulate over 210 state-chartered banks, 67 state-chartered credit unions, and more than 15,000 non-depository licensees. Combined, these companies represent more than $77 billion in assets and tens of billion dollars more in remittances and mortgage originations. Currently, only 431 of these companies are paying an assessment for their regulatory oversight. Minnesota statutes currently do not allow the assessment of all businesses regulated by that division. State-chartered banks and credit unions, as well as motor vehicle finance companies, industrial loan companies, and debt management companies are assessed now. However, several non-depository businesses, including money transmitters and mortgage originators, are not assessed. This results in assessable businesses paying for the oversight of non-assessable businesses. The department is seeking to address this issue by extending the assessment authority of the Financial Institutions Division to include all regulated financial institutions. This would redirect $783,000 in fee revenue from the general fund to the Financial Institutions Special Revenue Fund, which funds the operations of that division. Short bill, short presentation. Happy to stand for questions.
Members, any questions for the commissioner on the supplemental budget bill? Could you check, see if there's any on? While we're checking to see if anybody on Zoom has some questions, just a couple of questions, Commissioner. Prior to the COVID, I think the majority of the employees were working on site. Can you tell me, have most of the folks returned back into returned to working in person, or do you still have quite a few that went out on to their home, working out of their home due to COVID that are still doing that?
Thanks, Chair Dahms. That's a great question. It varies by division. So the approach that we've taken at Commerce is to look at the work we do and then determine what works best for each area based on the manager's assessment and the employee's kind of work status. So we have actuaries who are reviewing filings all day. It doesn't make sense necessarily for them to be in the office every day. So we have some folks who are in every day. We have some folks who are in a couple days a week and others who are not in.
So could you give me an idea about what percent is back working out of the office?
We can get back to you on that one.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Another question is, I hear a lot about the length of time it's taking to get these new filings approved. So can you tell me what has to be done in order to get these filings approved and sent out earlier than or sooner than what's happening now?
Sure. So there are two kinds of filings that the insurance division reviews. One are filings that are more financial in nature. So those are licenses, changes of business. A company wants to write a new line of business, mergers, acquisitions. Those, I think, are probably the filings that you're referencing. Those filings we've newly hired a couple of additional staff. That was in the governor's budget, or that was in our budget from last year. And so that should be improving. We also, we look at about 5,000 filings in the property and casualty space for the policy reviews. And we do pretty well on timing, but probably could be a little better as most businesses are never running perfectly, but we can always do better. So that's what the additional senior manager within the insurance division will help with.
Can you tell me what kind of a timeline does the statutes give you for handling these filings? Is there a statute?
I'm not sure there is. That's a different kind. I don't think we have a statutory filing requirement for the financial transactions. We do have a statutory requirement for the policy filings, and that's 60 days. We're generally within that.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell me, when these filings come in, how do you determine which filings you're going to handle as far as are they treated by when they come in? Are they consideration given to filings due to company size or the history of operations or anything like that?
We do a first come, first, thanks for the question, Chair Dahms. We do a first come, first serve basis. I will say that I think we've talked about this. We had a couple of staff leave in our training phase of training the new staff. We have grouped like kinds of transactions so that the folks who are being trained in will do all the same thing for a week, which helps them then know how to do it really well rather than doing one thing 1 week and then the same thing 2 weeks later. So we've shifted around our processes just a little bit to improve our training, and that the goal of that is to make sure that the staff know how to do them really well and then can do them faster over time.
So on the filings, I'm assuming that you probably have a goal now that you have some more people and you said you're hoping to shorten this time up.
Yep.
I'm assuming you have a goal of what that timeline you would like to get to. So can you tell me how far out do you think it'll be before you can reach your goal?
That's a good
Or
question.
what's your goal in reaching your goal?
I would say by the end of summer, we should be in better shape. That would be my hope.
Thank you.
Yep.
Senator Housley has a question. Senator Housley.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioner. I just have a question when it comes to the financial fraud. Great bill we passed in 2018 and then updating it in 2020. Can you just give us a little update on, was the incidences of fraud during COVID, was there a significant increase or no change, or what effect did COVID have on our vulnerable adults?
Commissioner Arnold?
Chair Dahms and Senator Housley, thanks for the question. So I think we can probably get back to you with some specific statistics to the extent we have them. What we did see was that, in some cases, seniors were more isolated and so maybe had fewer opportunities to interact with entities that might be, trying to take their money, but they also were more isolated. And so the nature of the work changed in some ways because they didn't have the kinds of support that they would have had before. So the problem certainly hasn't gone away. The way that we go about, addressing it and talking to our financial institutions in particular, but also our seniors has changed a little bit. But it certainly isn't, it is not going away, unfortunately.
Senator Housley, follow up?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioner. I would really appreciate, if you could get more details to me, but I think we have, after the third deadline, I think we're going to have either you or somebody from your department come and give us, in our aging committee, a whole update on that. So thank you very much. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Senator Port.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just curious, it seems a little bit late to be hearing the governor's budget during the second deadline week, and I am curious if there is a reason why we're hearing this so late and just in an informational hearing setting.
Certainly there's a reason. We did not receive the bill until after the first deadline. And the House didn't receive the bill. We did not receive the bill until after the first deadline. I felt it still would be a good reason. I mean, I felt we should have the commissioner come in and present the bill. And so we're presenting the bill today so people can see what the requests are. As far as informational, or we either had the meeting as an informational meeting or we didn't have the meeting. So I felt this was the better of the options. So, any follow-up? Any other questions, members? Commissioner Arnold, any final comments?
Thank you all for your consideration, and I hope we can make some of these investments in the department. I think it would really improve our services to Minnesotans and Minnesota businesses.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate your presenting Senate File 4427. And members, any other questions before we adjourn the committee? Seeing Senator Kent.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just checking back in to see what the plans are moving forward.
The Monday after the Easter break, at this time, we're tentatively looking at having a hearing on the multiple fuels bill. And then the Monday after that, we're tentatively looking at having a hearing on the OLA report on the fraud portion of it. So that would be what we have scheduled. Other than that, that would be what we would have in committee. We have nothing else this week before the end of the third deadline, and so then with those two, that'll probably pretty much wrap up the committee, and those both will be informational hearings. So,
Thank you.
other questions? Seeing none, that concludes the business of the day, and the Commerce Committee is adjourned.